Once upon a time, there was a potion maker. In a world where most were enamored with new things, she was one of few who still followed the old ways. Every afternoon, she spent her time perfecting the craft, creating all sorts of concoctions for the good folk of the land. For you see, her potions were like no others, and carried mysterious transformative magics not even she fully understood. And every morning, just like this one, she would deliver her elixirs to the good folk of the land. Look now as the potion maker meets Mrs. Newt. She says, "Good morning, Mrs. Newt."
Good morning, Mrs. Newt.
And hands her one potion of plant growth. The potion maker would love to stay and chat, but she has many more deliveries to complete before the morning is done. She continues on her journey through the gardens and meets Mrs. Fern. She says, "Good morning, Mrs. Fern."
Good morning, Mrs. Fern.
How strange, thinks Mrs. Fern. The potion maker keeps looking at the sky. The potion maker could be somewhat strange, but her potions were always wonderful. See now as she hands Mrs. Fern a love potion. In between deliveries, she scours the vegetation for special leaves with jagged edges, pine cones clumped in groups of 3, baby blue flowers, and other important ingredients. In the shade of a tree, she finds a snail shell. In the shade of a tree, she finds a snail shell. In the shade of a tree, she finds a snail shell. In the shade of a tree, she finds a snail shell. In the shade of a tree, she finds a snail shell. In the shade of a tree, she finds a snail shell. In the shade of a tree, she finds a snail shell. In the shade of a tree, she finds a snail shell. In the shade of a tree, she finds a snail shell. The potion maker is happy. This will be perfect for Mr. Clay's tincture. She hurries home to finish her next batch. She crushes a snail shell and sprinkles it into the cauldron. Next, she adds a dollop of cedar sap. A lovely smell fills the room. Next, she tosses heads of dandelion into the cauldron and stirs thoroughly with a spoon. And to bring the potion's magical properties to life, she must add the yolk of 1 speckled chicken's egg. She must add the yolk of 1 speckled chicken's egg. She must add the yolk of 1 speckled chicken's egg. She must add the yolk of 1 speckled chicken's egg. She must add the yolk of 1 speckled chicken's egg. She must add the yolk of 1 speckled chicken's egg. Next, the potion maker drops the caps of 4 acorns into the cauldron. Then she stirs counterclockwise until the potion is thick and creamy. With pride, she ladles out Mr. Clay's order. She smiles as she bottles the pale blue tincture. With the sun now high in the sky, she clears the counter and prepares for her next batch of brews. For her next elixir, the potion maker needs 2 pinches of snapdragon seeds, and 3 petals of lily. She must be forgetful today, for the recipe called for 2 pinches of snapdragon seeds and... Oh, a knock at the door. It must be Mr. Wren here to deliver the potion maker her pouch of silver dust. The potion maker says hello to Mr. Wren.
Hello to Mr. Wren.
The potion maker was always very polite to her patrons. She said, "Why, thank you, Mr. Wren."
Why, thank you, Mr. Wren.
The potion maker went inside. She puts away the silver dust for safekeeping. For you see, she needs the dust for tomorrow's recipe.
The potion maker actually needs it now.
The potion maker doesn't know what she's talking about and should maybe consider checking the recipe book. Well, after her string of missteps, the potion maker thought it would be best to simply light a candle and read for the rest of the night. Perhaps she could even make some tea.
Actually, the potion maker thinks she wants to go for a walk.
The potion maker very much does not want to go for a walk, for the evening is almost upon her.
The potion maker heads for the door.
And the chair is so comfy and soft, and there's peppermint tea waiting for her in the pantry, so she decides to curl up and read instead. She decides to curl up and read instead.
Nothing to say? Did I hurt your feelings? Oh, the potion maker must have just taken a wrong turn. How silly. What she really wants is some tea. She loves to serve the good folks of this land all day long. How lovely to see you, Mrs. Newt. Okay. Fine. What if we play it the other way? Once upon a time, there was a narrator who never shut up until finally, one day, it did. And now the potion maker... Now the potion maker doesn't have anyone telling her what to do. Are you coming back? What do you think of this? Are you even there? Answer me!
There was peppermint tea waiting for her in the pantry. The potion maker settles down after a long day. She sinks into the armchair, so comfy and soft. She holds her potion in her hands. She uncorks the bottle. She raises it to her lips, and then she transforms.